Hello and welcome to Talk of the Game. It's just finished over at Anfield. Liverpool 2, West Ham 82 as the Hammers jump out the relegation zone for another few days at the very least. But Tom, after 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock, it looked like we were staying in the bottom three for tonight.
Yeah, I thought we were in for a long afternoon when that went in. I thought, oh God, here comes another Arsenal game. But yeah, managed to pull it out of the bag somehow. But we'll get on to that.
Gonzo, Adam Lallana made it 1-0 Liverpool. It's one of those goals again, isn't it? Where you watch the replay and every time you watch it, you change who's to blame.
Yeah, you swap between Ogbonna, who had, I think I counted 3 occasions where he could perhaps have done something. He looked a little bit lethargic, if that's being unfair, a little bit lethargic. And of course, I'd like to see the stats. I don't know how many goals have come down our right side. You can lay the blame at Nordveit, or if you don't, you can pick other points during the game where you could lay some blame at Nordveit. That's entirely up to you. What I do want to know is, and I would like to know, we were saying it all last season, it's not hindsight. I want to know who decided not to improve and not to spend any money on a right back. We had the fouled Antonio. I mean, it's really just doing my head in now, and I want to know who has not spotted it at the club, or either the scouting team or the head coach himself. Someone's not spotted a glaring weakness that everyone else can see, and it's just costing us time and time again.
Tom, they clearly targeted our right back position from the word go, didn't they? It wasn't just give the ball out to Firmino. It was get Wijnaldum out there, get Milner forward, get Origi out there as well. Everybody was going out to our right back position for that first 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, no, they did, and it was well done tactically. It was good from Klopp to do that. Obviously, every team in the league knows that we're struggling at right back position, and if it's not with Antonio in there, who likes going forward and not getting back, it's Nordveit, who was shaky the other week against Spurs when he come on. So, no, tactically, it was really well done from Klopp to double up, and they saw the rewards from it with the goal coming from that side.
Yeah, it was a fantastic goal as well. I think every time I've seen it, I mean, at the start I thought, oh, Nordveit, but then when I watched the replay, I thought, well, what's Obiang doing, letting Wijnaldum come all the way over from that long stretch, and then Nordveit's doubled up on, and then the ball gets put in, and Lallana could have had about 4 touches before anyone went near him. And as Tom said, I thought we were in for a long afternoon. However, Gonzo, we've been waiting for him to do it all season, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, and that's why you keep him in the team. He's got that quality that he can do something. He's the only one, and you'd struggle to say that he's been in good form, but then you also look at the last game where he took a free kick and it hit the bar, and then Carroll stooped and nodded it in. So he does always have that, and fair play to him. He, as the commentator picked up on, he did seem to be one of the few trying to win the game at the end as well. And yeah, he's got that quality. The keeper's had some blame apportioned to it. I'm not a goalkeeping coach, so I don't know about his goalkeeping positioning, but I do know Payet has the ability to stick the ball in the net, so I don't think a lot of shame for the keeper. If you're going to have someone score against you, it probably is likely to be Payet.
Well, Tom Gonzo there is trying to not shift too much blame on Karius, but there's got to be huge question marks over his starting position, is there not?
Yeah, I know. This is the thing. They've not exactly got the greatest second backup goalkeeper as well. Someone who hasn't got great hands, but I don't know. I think we've seen time and time again Payet put the ball over the wall, mainly in the top bin, but today was his bottom left. And I think that keepers, I don't know why they offer him such a head start, leaving so much of the goal open on that right, or his right hand side. You've seen it. He's put goals past David De Gea, for instance, one of the best keepers in the league. I don't understand, no matter how tall the wall is, no matter where the wall is, that you should not allow Payet that much room. And whether it was one of his best free kicks or not, I still think he could have probably done better for that goal.
1-1 West Ham. But what did you make of the first half overall? Did you think we were asking for trouble a little bit, or do you think we weathered the storm, then took it to Liverpool at the perfect time?
As an overview, I'll leave my comment for the second half, but as an overview, I thought we were really lacking confidence. As you'd expect, we'd shipped a lot of goals and we played like a nervous team. So even players who are technically good, like Payet, like Lanzini and Cresswell, looked very nervous and, dare I say, useless as well. So, and I just think it was that lack of confidence and those nerves. And I think once Payet scored that goal, I think it gave the team a little bit of confidence. And I actually thought, oh, hold on a second. We're actually started to come into it a little bit and have a little bit more possession. And I just thought scoring that goal really helped. And maybe it took away the recent memories of getting absolutely thumped. And because we played Liverpool 4 times last season, of course, we won 3 times. Maybe because by and large it's the same team as last season with the players out there. I think maybe it perhaps gave them some memories of last season, how well we did against Liverpool. So I think that perhaps boosted their confidence a little bit.
Well, Gonzo, you were speaking about nerves there, but Antonio certainly didn't show any, did he? He was chasing everything. Then he finally got his chance. You can point at Henderson's header, Matip's error if you like, but he's got to take those chances. And boy, did he take it! 2 on West Ham. What were you thinking then?
I'll tell you exactly what I was thinking then. I was thinking absolutely brilliant. The boy was screaming. He scared his little sister half to death because he screamed out yes at the top of his voice. And then I thought these boys looked shaky. Those 2 centre-backs looked useless. So I thought we need to get at these guys. I was actually saying at the time, well, if we can just sort of keep it at this sort of scoreline at 1-1, by the time Carroll comes on, we can cause these guys some real problems. But of course, then it wasn't. It was 2-1 to us. They couldn't handle him. And I thought, you know what? They can't handle Antonio. They are not going to be able to handle Carroll plus one other as well. I thought they were useless as centre-backs. And I thought this is the point we are now going to put severe pressure on them. And I thought more goals would probably come.
Tom, Antonio got his goal. Just reward for such a hard-working first half from him.
Yeah, I think that opening sort of 10, 15 minutes, he was quite isolated. He didn't really have much to go off. And even though his goal was quite lucky in the fact that, Nordveit, I don't think it was. I didn't really see it. I haven't watched a replay of it, but it might have been a lucky ball. I don't know if he meant it or if it was centre back's fault. But no, it goes to show it was. He got his just reward for working hard, and he finally scored one with his feet as well, not with his head for a change.
Yeah, just for anyone that hasn't seen it, like Tom, that hasn't seen the replay, Nordveit tries a long pass, Henderson heads it up behind him, loops in the air, Matip, for whatever reason, doesn't deal with it, bounces, Antonio's 1-1. You can point the blame at Karius again, but I think he has to be careful there, because if you touch the striker and you don't get the ball, you're sent off, you've given away a penalty, you kind of just have to stand up and be as big as possible. But well done. But just before the referee blew his whistle, Tom, needed a bit of luck on our side today. We got it with our second goal. Did we get it again with the penalty shout on Lallana? Lallana went into the box. Payet was shoulder to shoulder. The hand went on Lallana. Was that a penalty for you, Tom, or not enough?
Can you chuck this one onto Gonzo? Because my stream stopped as that happened, and I yet to see the replay.
Did you see the incident, Gonzo?
Oh, my stream was like a waterfall, mate. I saw it all. Yeah, I thought that would have been soft if that was given, to be perfectly honest with you. That would have been very, very soft for that to be given. Having said that, I did think Reed kicked Origi later on in the second half, and he got nowhere near the ball when he just kicked his foot. I thought that was a pen. But the Payet one, no, that would have been very, very soft to give that.
Well, West Ham United win in at half-time, 2-1 up. But it's December. Soon, in a couple of weeks, Rudolph comes round with presents. Well, forget Rudolph, because our keeper Randolph decided to give a present to Liverpool. Gonzo, what was he doing? Mane, simple cross. There's no one really on Randolph, but he comes to collect it, spills it, Origi, bang, 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a nightmare. Again, it's come down that side as well. We said they were targeting that wing. It came from that wing. And yes, most people would have dealt with that. I was actually praising him a week or two ago because he actually caught a cross, which was quite a novelty for West Ham. He came in. He's come in. He's replaced Adrian in the team because Adrian was conceding lots of goals and making some mistakes. And Randolph's come in and he's conceded lots of goals and made some mistakes. So we've clearly got an issue there. I don't want to go too hard on him because I think he's waited patiently for his chance. But he's, what is that? 11 goals in 3 games, isn't it? I mean, we've got defence. We've got lots of issues. It's not all Randolph's fault, of course. So, very flappy and basically gave him the goal. Flapped it. There's one of an easier goal all season, will he, Origi?
I wouldn't say flapped it. I mean, I think he looked quite confident at going for it, and he thought he was going to get 2 hands. He technically did get 2 hands to it. Unfortunately, just falling backwards and couldn't keep a hold of it. But Tom, Do you think Gonzo's been a bit harsh there on Randolph? Or, I mean, it wasn't, for me, it was obviously a goalkeeping error, but I think it was almost just a bit unfortunate that he's maybe misjudged the total flight of the ball or something. I don't know.
I don't want to be too difficult, too harsh on him, because I think a lot of us were calling for him to come in over Adrian, but I think that simple goalkeeping, he should know where to be positioning wise, where to stand if he's going to come to claim the ball, if he's going to punch at it. And I think it's strange because he's been so much more, he's been a lot more confident than Adrian has at actually coming out, commanding his box and catching stuff like that. We've seen Adrian being very, very nervous and shaky, very flappy handed at stuff like that. So it was weird to see him have an incident like that. But I think you have to do better, just simply off the fact it's just basic goalkeeping knowledge of stuff like that. And I think going off of what we've seen of him the last couple of weeks, and like I said, the way he's commanded his box, I think he had to do better. And I honestly think with the way that we defended in those last sort of 25, 30 minutes, that as almost an individual error has cost us all 3 points. I'm not saying I'm miserable at the fact we got a draw, but I think an individual goalkeeping error has cost us 3 points, because I think we could have easily seen out that game with how we were defending.
Well, the Slav then threw on Andy Carroll for IU, Fernandez for Lanzini, but the game kind of finished 2-2 without there being much incident, really. Now, as Gonzo said, it was a late penalty call for Liverpool, but Gonzo, what did you make of the game overall? Do you think Bilic got it right, or do you think we were too, not negative, but do you think we sat back too much and didn't really go for the kill? Or?
Yeah, I mean, is that Bilic? Is that the same guy from last season? Is that the same guy who kept on? I mean, I know they were rubbish, but I mean, the guy that would chuck on 4 strikers to try and win the game. Is that the same bloke?
No, but to be fair though, last year when we went to not just Anfield but in other games, we were sitting 6th in the league. Yeah, I think you have to bear in mind that we've gone to Anfield in 18th position, perhaps.
Maybe you do, and you're probably right. And I'm very mindful that most of the people will be pleased with that draw, but I just don't see the point. I just thought they were there for the taking, and I thought, right, okay, he's going to bring Andy Carroll. What is the point in bringing Andy Carroll on if you're not going to put anyone up next to him and you're not going to devise? Sorry, I've got to say, I think he's absolutely tactically naive, Bilic. I thought it for some time. The right-back thing has really irked me. It's really irritated me. And then to see him bring Andy Carroll on like that and then not put any support up next to him. Why bring him on when he's, out of all the time he was on the pitch, he gets one unsupported header later on in the game? He was basically brought on as a defender, wasn't he, for corners, to defend corners against us. I just don't see the point. It was tactically naive, totally and utterly tactically naive. I've got to write something about it, actually.
Tom, what's your thoughts on the tactical side? I mean, no, to support Gonzo, I get what Gonzo's saying. I agree with him, actually, but to support Gonzo, when he took on Carroll, he then moved Antonio to right wing back and went to like 3-5-2. You must have been scratching your head as well, were you, Tom, or did you understand what Bilic was doing?
Yeah, it was a bit inept from him. I didn't understand why he would sort of put Antonio back there in the 3 at the back system. It's like, I understand what Gonzo's saying. I don't understand why he would have brought him if he had the intention of playing him and having the support there. He was just brought on, I think, just to offer a more defensive presence at corners. But it was also weird to see that he was offered no support. And like you said, Antonio dropping back to the right back position almost. He offered him nothing, and we know that Antonio's crossing ability isn't fantastic either. And he was just left all alone really up there at times, and just came back from corners. So no, it was a bit of a strange decision seeing brought. If he was brought on for that reason to be defensive, then fair enough. But I would rather have seen Fletcher maybe come on and offer something different than Andy and just save him for midweek, knowing that was the reason why he was brought on, if that makes sense.
The thing with this whole Carroll defending set pieces, I tend to get it. I do get it. But when I looked at that Liverpool team, I thought, well, apart from their centre-backs and Origi, there's no real height in that team. Firmino, Mane, Ronaldo, they're not really like known for their attacking their headers. And when we've got Reed and Ogbonna and Obiang and Nordveit, well, you rate him or not, should be able to be defensively sound in the air, given his position and his defensive duties. I just thought, we shouldn't really be struggling defensively from set pieces against that calibre of players. And I thought Fletcher would have been a better choice up front, someone with a bit of an engine, etc. Because I thought Antonio was crucial to the way we were playing. I think the second half we faded a bit just because of tiredness, I think. But the first half, we were thumping it, and he would forced them into knocking out for a throw-in or something, and we were able to push up the pitch, etc. But in the second half, it was Allardyce stuff. Just hoof it up the pitch, and we were missing someone recycling possession. But we weren't giving no ball Lanzini and Obiang. We weren't giving them the chance to recycle it. The defence wasn't giving it to them and saying, "Here, try and keep a hold of the ball for a minute while we all have a breather." We were just booting it, and then they were coming right back at us. I thought it was very risky. But Gonzo, what did you make? I mean, we've drawn 2-2 at the end of the day at Anfield, so you must be quite happy from a defensive point of view. Tactics aside, from a defensive point of view, we're quite solid, were we not?
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's as good as we've looked defensively for some time. I'd go as far as to say we would have looked like we had a good defence if we weren't weak down that channel, down that wing where we've been weak. You know, their left wing, our right back wing, if you know them. When you were saying about the lack of height, I mean, it did work. It's not like I can't see. Well, sorry, just replaying the Randolph thing there. It's not like I can't see what he did by bringing Carroll on. I can see. I was just very, very surprised to see it, and I was confident, like you said. No matter how many times they were pumping balls into the box, and at the end they were throwing balls in, you know, long balls and all sorts. I knew they wouldn't have any joy from that. They needed the ball to hit the deck from them for them to be able to do anything. So I think defensively we have the potential to be decent. But the reason we're not decent is because of that right back slot. And that's why at the start I said I'd like to know, because somebody is to blame. And it's taken a toll from the very first game of the season against Chelsea. It really, really has. And I tell you what, it's a big corporation. It's 150 million pounds a year or whatever they get from Sky. That's a big decision not to do that. That is somebody I would really like to know who decided it was wise not to spend some money on an experienced right back and actually, you know, go and chuck some money at it rather than trying to see if Byram comes good. Chuck in Antonio there, who's not a right back. Bringing in Arbeloa on a free at the last minute, which was totally panicked. They only did that because that was towards the end of the window because Antonio wasn't working out. Oh, my goodness, we better have a right back there. Or now they're trying to shoehorn Nordveit in there. So, to answer your question, we did look okay defensively. But if you want to get through West Ham, you know the route you've got to go.
Well, only Manchester United have got a point so far at Anfield this season until West Ham rocked up. So, Tom, you must be pretty chuffed. The fact is, we've drawn 2-2 at Anfield. You must be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, no. Look, at the end of the day, I'm absolutely ecstatic. I thought. I mean, we've said off camera that, you know, we needed a positive result this weekend to almost spearhead us into these crucial games that are coming up because they're not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination, no matter how poor each of the sides have been. But to get a point from Liverpool anytime is great. I think I listened to the commentator during the game. It's like over the last 30 games that we played at Anfield, we've scored only 7 goals. You know, and the fact that we didn't win there and since the 1970s and we only managed to win there last year. Look, anytime you go to Anfield and you pick up a result, it is fantastic. And it's what we needed this weekend because I don't think we could have taken another humbling and been on a high going into Wednesday night. You know, so. Look, today was a fantastic result, and obviously we go into the Burnley game full of positive mindset and focused.
Well, a tasty topic coming up, so I'm going to do something slightly different. Gonzo, who impressed you tonight? Who impressed you today at Anfield? Who was your man of the match?
From West Ham's team?
Yeah, from West Ham. You can pick a Liverpool player as well if you want, but who was your man of the match?
I mean, there's no point. There's lots from Lallana amongst many of them. I thought was in a decent game. And I would go for Antonio or Obiang. If you want to nail me down to one, I'll say Antonio.
Was there anyone else that impressed you bar them two? You seem awfully defeatist, Gonzo. Come on, cheer up. We've got a point at Anfield here.
I know I am. It's a bit of therapy doing this. Actually, I'm really disappointed. I was more hopeful. I've got to say. Actually, when it started, we conceded a goal after 4 minutes. I thought we were going to get thrashed. Absolutely thrashed. And I was quite prepared to lose today as well. And I said to a few people, I said on the forum that actually I think we probably will lose today. And then Burnley and Hull, I think, will get better and we'll improve. But bearing in mind at that point we weren't getting thrashed, And when you actually looked at it, their defenders were so crap. I was disappointed for us not to go for the jugular. So that's probably why I'm the way I am. And I guess Antonio was our best player today. I was quite impressed with Noble's attitude, if I may say that. There was a particular point where James Milner, you'll remember the bit, was trying to shepherd it out for a throw-in, and Noble went in there, he didn't give up the ghost, he slid in, wrapped his foot around the ball, and it actually bounced off the corner flag, and he ran. So, I mean, stuff like that does impress me, but as there's a lot of endeavour in him doing that, a lot of spirit. I think Ogbona's lacking a bit of that at the moment. Actually, no, I like Ogbonna. I think he's a good player. I think he's lacking a bit of that spirit that Noble had actually today.
I think you've been a bit harsh on the Liverpool defence, to be honest, Collins. I think Matip's one of the best centre-backs in the league going by this season so far. I think Klein's one of the best right-backs in the league. Milner's been, bar last weekend, solid at left-back for them. Lovren does well alongside Matip. Individually, I think he can be a bit better pro, but I think he's got the right defence. I think you've been harsh on Liverpool back four, personally.
It was a two. It's very much the two centre-backs. I just thought they looked really shaky today. Lovren is the other one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Tom, who was your man match? And also, were you impressed by the change of attitude? Do you think there was enough of a change of attitude compared to last weekend?
Yeah, I think I'll talk about the attitude in a second, but I think Antonio did really well today. He chased after absolutely everything. Played in 3 positions throughout the game as well. So no, he was good. Payet looked more interested this week. Obviously, the goal would have helped his confidence. But I think as far as attitude goes, I think that's what we've been missing. And we've said it that, look, fair enough, if the team isn't going to win a game or if we're struggling against a better opposition, just show heart and desire and the want to actually show the fans that you are still fighting. And I thought, like Gonzo said, I thought Noble did that in the first half, because when we went 2 up, and you could almost see he was G'd up by the fact that we were playing well, and he just went all over Milner, crunched him, got the ball in and put it into the box. And that is the Mark Noble we've been missing this season, because almost at times that was last season why he stood out so much, because he was so impressive in points like that. He made tackles that made everybody go, whoa, we haven't seen this Noble for forever. And he's missed that this season. So it was great to see. I thought Reed was fantastic at centre-back today. I think he had to pull rank on Ogbonna so many times. I think Ogbonna he still looks shaky back there. I think Reed's covered him a lot today. And I know bar Randolph's mistake, I think that he made a fantastic save for Henderson's shot to keep us in the game and not to go down 3-2. So yeah, there was a few good individual performances in there today. So
yeah, I thought in the first half, only. At the second half, he faded. In the first half, I thought Lanzini was sensational. I thought he was everywhere. I was putting over his performance, but in the second half, he just disappeared. I don't know where he went in the second half. Randolph, world-class save. Like you said, Tom, that was heading for the top corner. Ridiculous shot by Henderson as well. So that was a fantastic effort. But I'm going to say Reed for my man of match as well. I thought he did really well. To defend Ogbonna, I think he's always been a bit laid back, but to criticise him, he's becoming Mr. Hoof it, and it's starting to really irk me. The amount of times he just blasts that down the middle, even when there's no one on him, just blasts it. I just think just calm. Someone get him to chill. But I think Winston Reid had a hard job trying to keep Nordveit under control and speak to Nordveit. And you see them getting stuck into Nordveit at one point in the second half. I think Manny came away down the left, and once it was cleared, you could see Reid really going at Nordveit as if to say, what are you doing? And that's what we've been missing, that attitude. So, but let's talk about the attitude a minute, because if you don't know the team, we had a lot of kids on the bench. We had Fletcher, we had Fernandez, 2 players bought for the future. We had Andy Carroll back from injury. Then we had Brown, Pike, and Quina in there as well. The players missing from the bench, who may be injured, we don't know yet, is Masuaku, Faguli, Zaza, and Arbeloa. Tom, Savour and Bilic said last weekend we're lacking intensity in training. Do you think those 4 players have maybe been left out by Bilic as a sign of you 4 are the ones lacking intensity in training?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't exactly for calling people out on telly, on press. I think sometimes it can have a negative effect, but it obviously has had a positive effect in players this week in training. They just look more focused, and it is very, very, very telling to see that those were the 4 players that were left out. I mean, like we said last weekend, I think you pointed out how bad it was that Arbeloa had to go down get someone to go down the changing room for him to get him his shirt. And like you said, if that doesn't show poor attitude, I don't know what does. And like you said, it is very telling to see those 4 players out, because I don't know if they're picking up any injuries whatsoever. But it just shows that the players that necessarily wouldn't have had a chance to start the season obviously showed something to Slaven this week in training, and he might have picked players like Pike, like Keener off of work rate this week, and I think it showed in the performance of the starting 11. You know, they were all committed to fighting for each other, bar maybe a couple, but they were willing to fight this week, and it was a breath of fresh air to see almost after what we've seen so far this season.
Just to know, we don't know for sure if these players have been left out or injured. We don't know. They could be injured and kept under wraps by the club, which would be a bit strange considering Bilic was very open the fact that Cecchiati was missing. And if you're going to be very open about your first team player being missing, I'm pretty certain you'd be a bit more open about your sub bench not quite being fit. Gonzo, is this the right message from Bilic if this is the case? Do you think it could be the case?
It's quite possible. Don't know. I think it's the right thing. Bilic had to do something, okay? Because we couldn't carry on as we were. Something had to change. Now, that is either players, its system, or if it were to carry on, then the change would be Bilic himself with his job. So something needed to change. So he changed the system and he changed some players. Those players on the bench, Brown and Queener in particular, were never going to come on. That was a statement. So that in itself makes me think, yeah, okay, there must have been something going on behind the scenes. But again, he's very reactive. It took him a long time to work out that Antonio wasn't a right back. Maybe now he's working out that actually Zaza is, as he appears, that, as you say, Arbeloa is that way as well. So better late than never. So hopefully he has realised that, and we move on. And hope. Fortunately, we're coming up to January, so if they are lacking in a bit of attitude, then those guys can be replaced.
The worst thing for me is if you were to ask every West Ham fan, write down 5 players you think are lacking intensity in training, I think most would have Arbeloa and Zaza on the sheet, and I think a lot might also have Feghouli. Maybe not Masuaku. I think. No, okay. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, he tries during games," but Bilic never commented about game intensity. Bilic commented about training intensity, and for all we know, Masuaku could be horizontal during training. He could be that laid back. We don't know. Only Bilic and his coaches know.
By your theory that Feghouli, Arbeloa, and Zaza lacked intensity, and Masuaku picked up a knock. So it's not. Do you know what I mean? It may well be as a generalised thing, but perhaps not every one of them, possibly.
Tom, we've got the point. Does this just simply delay the pressure on Bilic? The pressure's off Bilic's shoulders for another 3 nights, but as soon as we kick off against Burnley, the pressure's heaped back on him again.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of people said, that these games aren't going to, based on the outcome of the game, he's not going to determine his job. So it was good to see us pick up a result today. I think that probably alleviated some of the pressure going into midweek, because if I think we would have lost today, he would have been feeling it big time on Wednesday. But he's put out a performance from the team. We put in a performance, and we've got a point. So, but I think the pressure will be on regardless on Wednesday, because I think people sort of say, these 3 easy games, people, Burnley, Hull, Swansea away. Look, I mean, Swansea won at home the other day against Sunderland, and I know it's only Sunderland, but we've been like that this season. I think Burnley, although they're not great away from home, or Hull, maybe the same. Teams have come to the Olympic Stadium this year, London Stadium, and they've picked up results. They've just shown, a bit of heart, a bit of desire, and they've come and they've wiped the floor with us at home. We've been awful at home, so I think it's pressure for Bilic on Wednesday to get it right. But if we can perform the way that we did today, and maybe look to hold the possession more, a little bit more attacking, a little bit more relaxed, because obviously we've not got the same pressure as a team like Liverpool or Arsenal, and just play the football we know we can, I think we'll be all right. But I still think, knowing that, or teams like Burnley and Hull have seen teams like Southampton, Middlesbrough come in and pick up results, they will be just as fired up as us for Wednesday, and they'll see it as a chance to come in and beat us. So I think it's going to be a really, really good game on Wednesday and on Saturday. But I just hope that Bilic feels that the pressure has almost gone off of his shoulders a little bit, and he is as relaxed as he should be going into Wednesday to pick up a result.
But we'll have our Burnley preview up on our channel tomorrow night, so make sure you subscribe while you're here. You two get your final thoughts together, collate a minute analysis over all the game, get your final thoughts together. But like I said, make sure you subscribe while you're here, youtube.com/HammersChat. Come on to our forum at hammerschat.com. Give us your thoughts. We want to know who your West Ham man of the match was. What did you think of the game? What did you think of Bilic's tactics? What did you think of our opinions? You probably disagree with some of us and agree. And also, what do you make about the bench? What I will say is I think Bilic was under pressure going into this one. He made a statement with his bench, whether it's injuries or not. But I don't believe all four of them are injured, that's for sure. So I think he's made a statement there. And I think the players have made a statement with their changing attitudes today. I was very impressed with a lot of the players. At some point near the end of the game, about 5-10 minutes ago, I seen Dimitri Payet go with a 50-50 and win it, and he looked like he was really wanting to win it as well. You didn't see Payet doing that often last season as well. Even last season when we were winning, Payet would sometimes happily duck out of them. So I think last week everyone was questioning, does Bilic have the changing room? I think today, me and Gonzo disagree with this. Gonzo last week said he does. Today, I'll agree with him on this one. I think he did have the dressing room today. I think the players were playing for their manager today. Fantastic point at Liverpool. Only the second team in the league to not get beat at Anfield. They're the top goal scorers in the Premier League now, and to concede 2 at Anfield isn't something to be ashamed of, but to score 2 at Anfield is something to be proud of, in my opinion. But Gonzo, what was your final thoughts on today then?
Totally agree with what you said about him still having the dressing room. I think he does. I think he's a good motivator like that. I think he's a good motivator, a good man. I think he's lacking tactically slightly. Just my final thoughts are actually not thoughts on today. So after what you said to Tom yesterday, which is Saturday, depending on when you're watching this. So when I refer to yesterday, I'm talking about Saturday. The results shocked me a bit. They pop up on my phone, the goals when they happen. I'm surprised at the quality of some of Burnley's goals. I'm surprised at some of the quality of Hull's play. I'm surprised at how Bradley has really got Swansea playing better as well. They lost yesterday, Sunderland, but they look a little bit better as well. It's thrown me a bit. It's thrown me a bit. We are absolutely in a relegation fight at the moment, and we need to get with the programme because all those other teams, even Palace, if you saw how well they played as well, the teams at the bottom are playing well. I almost started a thread the other day saying which 3 teams are worse than us. Well, I'll tell you what, it's open to anyone at the moment. Anyone can win in this league, so we better get our act together, and those are my final thoughts.
What I will say to back up your point is, well, West Ham fans are saying what 3 teams are better than us, and we're picking Hull, Swansea, Sunderland. A Swansea fan will be saying who's worse than us, and they'll be picking West Ham. Sunderland fans will be picking West Ham. Hull fans will be looking at West Ham. Those teams will be looking at us going, we can finish above them. They're a one-player team or whatever. That's what they'll be calling us at the end of the day. And they'll watch the highlights tonight, and that's all they'll watch, the highlights, and they'll probably think the same thing. Oh, yeah, another Payet free kick. They're a one-player team. Tom, what's your final thoughts on the day?
I think I've just alluded to, what both of you just said. Great to see a reaction from the players. We said that if Bilic had lost the dressing room, that's something you can't get back, and it might have to be a change of manager. But today showed that the players were willing to fight for him, and it was a brilliant result. And I think, like I've obviously said, we need to be careful going into Wednesday and Saturday, but they're must-win games, and they're games that we can win. And I just hope for Bilic's sake he can pick up the results, because I do think he is the man. I think, like I said, he won his time to change his around last year with how well we played, and I just hope that he can stay on, because I do think he's the best manager we've had in years, and I do hope that for his sake he pulls the results out of the bag. So, but yeah, fantastic win today. Draw even, so it feels like a win. It feels like a win.
Does it really?
We can be positive. We can be positive for the first time in ages.
Before we played Spurs, every West Ham fan said, let's see what we can get from the next 4 games, and then the next 3 are the crucial ones. Well, we picked up 2 points out of the last 4, but as everyone's saying, next up is Burnley, then it's Hull, and then it's Swansea. It is crunch time for West Ham. It is crunch time for Savour Bilic. We'll be back tomorrow night previewing that Burnley game. Do we predict a win? Just to note, I said 2-2 for this game in the preview. So do follow my prediction for the Burnley game. So join us tomorrow night. Make sure you subscribe. If you've enjoyed the video, drop a like, and come on to our forum at hammerschat.com and have a little chat for us. Thank you for watching.